welcome to St. Louis Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Midwest from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Game one of a three-game series with Atlanta. Overcast skies all day long, and the Cardinals trying to chase the Braves in the National League wild card. 7.5 games behind going into play here tonight. Rick Horton alongside Al Rabasti. Glad you're with us for tonight's telecast. And Al, these two teams, really storied franchises, the Braves and the Cardinals. Cardinals 7.5 games out. Do they have a chance?
Well, it doesn't look good, but you're not mathematically eliminated, so you keep on playing hard. You go out there and play these games because it's a lot easier at least when you psychologically think that you still have something to play for. So until you're eliminated, go play hard baseball.
And if you could think of one thing the Cardinals need to do to get that streak going, what would it be?
Consistent starting pitching. That really sets the tone. Cardinals have a lot of offense, but it's all about starting pitching.
And speaking of starting pitching, we'll take a closer look at our starters here tonight in Game 1. The Cardinals and the Braves on Fox Sports Midwest. Underway here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals hosting the Atlanta Braves. Game 1 of a three-game series, and here's our pitching matchup.
Young Randall Delgado would be making his 4th career start. Baseball America described him as the 3rd best prospect in the Braves organization and 30th best overall. He's 2-1 with the Braves. Very tough on right-handed batters. They're batting .182 against a young right-hander. Edwin Jackson on the other side. He's pitching and making a lot of money. His recent starts have been very, very good. He's controlled the strike zone. He's got an overpowering fastball, good slider, and we've seen this changeup come into play. He'll be on the mound tonight for the Cardinals in a must-win situation.
And he's been tough of late. When we come back, we will have our 5 in 55 segment. They lead the wild card race at the moment. Time for our 5 and 55, and we'll start with David Freese, a career-high 6 RBIs last year against the Braves, including a home run. The Redbirds will need his power batting behind the big three in this series. John Jay has been very hot of late, stringing together several multi-hit games and also playing a very solid center field defensively for Tony La Russa. Albert Pujols has always hit the Braves well, flirting with 300 here in the second half of the season. The Cardinals need his power back if they want to take this series and get closer to Atlanta. Michael Bourne need to keep him off the bases. 10 stolen bases against the Cardinals in his career. That's an MLB high. A very tough out and a very solid base runner. Slugger Dan Uggla got off to a bad start in 2011, but he has poured it on in the second half, batting over .350 at New Busch with a slugging percentage of .647. The Cardinals are going to have to deal with him. So that's our 5 in 55. When we come back, we will revisit the last time these two teams met in Atlanta. Contested ball games. Cardinals taking 2 out of 3, and a lot of unlikely heroes in that series. Game 1, April 29th. Daniel Descalzo hits a sacrifice fly off of Craig Kimbrell. That ties the score in the 9th at 3. Then Nick Punto laces a 2-run triple in the 11th to give the Cardinals a 5-3 victory in Game 1. The following night, the Cardinals win again. This time, David Freese ties the game with a 2-run single off of Johnny Venters, another reliever having an outstanding season. And then it's Gerald Laird delivering a go-ahead RBI triple. Cardinals win this one 3-2, and Fernando Salas shuts the door for his second save of the season. The Braves take Game 3. That's on May 1st. Another unlikely hero. This time it's Brooks Conrad. His walk-off single gives the Atlanta Braves a 6-5 victory in Game 3. These two teams match up again here in St. Louis. Coming up next on Fox Sports Midwest. West is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Chevy. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor. Inside Busch Stadium, game 1 of a 3-game series with the Atlanta Braves. Had some rain here this afternoon, but the skies have cleared up, and we're going to start on time. And here's the Braves batting order. 5 left-handers in the lineup, including the switch hitter Chipper Jones, Bourne Jones, and McCann in the first, followed by Ugla, Freeman, Prado, Hayward, Jack Wilson, recently acquired, and Delgado, the pitcher, against Edwin Jackson.
Well, he's really made some money the way he's been pitching of late. He's a potential free agent. He's perfect here, not only 3-0, but an ERA under 2.5. And if he just maintains that command of the fastball and slider, incorporate an occasional changeup, he should have another good game because he's got that good of stuff.
Sure has been a good find. The defense behind Jackson, brought to you by Dobbs, is Holiday, Jay, and Berkman in the outfield from left to right. Freeze for Call, Schumacher, and Pujols. The A lineup here tonight. Yadier Molina behind the plate, and Jackson is your pitcher. Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. Welcome to the telecast.
And thank you for your service and what you do so we can enjoy our freedoms right back here at home. And we wish you a speedy return.
And we'll be remembering our troops all weekend long here on Fox Sports Midwest. Jackson toes the rubber, and he's ready for the first pitch, and it's Michael Bourne, the center fielder, and he runs very well. And on the grass is Freeze, and it's strike 1 at the knees.
Michael Bourne came over the trade deadline from Houston, and you see the 51 steals. He is a force to be reckoned with, so it's best to keep him off base.
So important, that first pitch strike for Edwin Jackson. Really for anybody else.
It really sets the tone. A lot of pitchers, they have good stuff. You can get that first pitch strike and then never have to throw another one. Just be around the plate and let a hitter expand his zone.
Good changeup from Jackson there.
We saw him, kind of incorporate that a little bit more. And that was such a big pitch for several of the starters in the Milwaukee series.
Jams him. Better hurry. Schumacher charges, and ball gets away from Pujols. And we'll have to wait and see how they score that. Bourne creating some stress on the right side of the Cardinals infield.
It's base hit, and I think that Schumacher, knowing about Michael Bourne's speed, really had to throw a BB at Albert. Off balance throw, and kind of surprised him a little bit. Off the glove. But he wasn't expecting that kind of throw, and could have been caught. But you mentioned the pressure that Bourne's speed puts on the defense is immense.
Part of his value. 51 stolen bases on the season. He's been caught a league high 12 times. Game time temperature 64 degrees. Turned into a nice evening here at Busch Stadium. Chipper Jones, the veteran, one of the best switch hitters this game has ever seen, Al.
Yes, he is. Now he's over 2,600 hits. 16 home runs again this year. When he's healthy, he's such a productive player. And moving up the list, all-time list of switch hitters, going to find himself in Cooperstown.
Fastball misses. Interesting to see him batting in the second spot.
Yeah, they've done that in a few games now. This is the fourth game. They did have a doubleheader, make-up doubleheader against the Mets. They won both ends of it. Chipper had a home run in game 1 and had another hit in game 2, hitting in the 2-hole.
2-0. Swing and a miss at a high fastball. They might have chased one out of the zone there.
The home run he hit on the 8th of September was number 452 of his career. That ties him with Carl Yastrzemski for 33rd place in the all-time list. Over 1,500 RBIs now.
This ball hit hard to right. Back goes Berkman. He's at the track, and he makes the play on the run. Lance Berkman runs it down at the warning track.
Very nice play by Berkman. And what he did well on this ball is, I think it shocked him a little bit. Well, watch, right at the last second he puts the glove up. You put the glove up too soon, it stops your forward progress. But he reached up at the last second, hauled it in, and I think he surprised our Plaza Tire Service Fox Expo cam. I think he surprised his former teammate Michael Bourne, who's still sitting on first base. He was right at the point of rounding second, going on to third on that ball if it would have gotten by him.
You're planning on scoring there, wasn't he? There's another hard hit to right field, and Berkman's not going to get this one. This one hits at the base of the wall, and Bourne is rounding third already, and he's going to score easily. And it's 1-0 Atlanta. That ball was crushed.
Brian McCann, just an outstanding offensive player. Position of catcher, but boy, he is a slugger. And you know, the ball down, left-handed hitters like that ball down. Michael Bourne, you could tell that Berkman wasn't going to catch this one. And look at him turn on the afterburners. The one bad thing about this is, you know, the Braves lead major leagues. They have the best record in games when scoring first. They're 60-14, and they've taken a 1-0 lead.
You could have done without that stat, Al. But you're just being honest. 1-0 to Dan Uggla.
Sometimes it hurts, doesn't it?
That's right. You're right. Yes, it does.
And with Jackson, you know, you're going to have to. Sometimes the starting pitcher gets a little trying to find the comfort zone on the mound. The first inning can be a little elusive. And you'll see the scoring first this season. Cardinals are pretty good, but they're not even on the top 5. 16-14 is pretty good, isn't it?
Sure is.
Remember, they got a great bullpen.
There's a good slider from Jackson, 2-1. And that bullpen you're talking about, O'Flaherty, Venters setting up for Craig Kimbrell, is pretty much lights out if you get to the 8th inning.
Got a rookie pitcher on the mound, and be the 4th consecutive start for a rookie for the Atlanta Braves. What were we told? No, the starters go 5 innings, and then Freddie Gonzalez likes to play with the toys in the bullpen.
Yeah, he worries a little bit about that 6th and the 7th, though. But once he gets to the 8th, it's all fun for him.
Sure.
2-2 to Dan Uggla.
But Uggla, after a very slow start, explosive season he's had. Still not hitting much, but the home runs are there.
Check swing. Pujols on the run, makes the play. Got a good jump on that ball. And there's a break for the Cardinals, retiring Dan Uggla. 33 home runs on the year for Uggla, just 1 behind Albert.
Uggla has had 18 since the All-Star break. Albert 16. They're the two top, and a Plaza Tire Service brings you this replay. Really wasn't hit that high, but as you said, a good jump, and he was able to get under it.
First base now open as Jackson faces Freddie Freeman. One of the names you think of when you think about a potential for the Rookie of the Year. He pops this one up into left field. Long way to run for Holiday, and he is not going to get it. And it is a fair ball, a fly ball hit, and now a double for Freddie Freeman. So the Cardinals get a good break, and on the very next pitch, they get a bad break.
Well, Freeman, as you said, big power, 18 home runs, and you got to respect it. But coming off the bat of a left-hander that's going to slice away from Holiday. Try to grab it barehanded, but it wouldn't have changed the results if he did so. It's going to be a double, and the runner with 2 outs was had his head down and was already across the plate.
A little surprised Freeman didn't slide into second base. How about you? You think he was going to be safe either way?
I think he thought he was going to be safe either way. But a rule of thumb is to go ahead and slide, execute that slide, and then you won't be caught in between.
Looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of guys get hurt. At the last second they try to slide and they don't have the right stride. They're not preparing for it. They jam a bag or a knee into the bag. So it's always better to just go up there and anticipate having to slide and execute it.
So 2-0 Atlanta. Martin Prado bats from the right side. Try to work him in, and Jackson misses low. Prado at 264. One of those pesky hitters. He's a good hitter. Hard to strike him out. And occasional power. 11 home runs, 52 RBIs.
Times you kind of think of him batting in the 2-hole or even leading off, but not with Michael Bourne on the roster.
Atlanta won both their games yesterday against the Mets, and they're out front here tonight in St. Louis 2-0.
Interesting. They had the rain out, or the postponement was because of the recent hurricane, and then Mike Winters, who was supposed to be the crew chief here tonight, was not able to get out of San Diego because of the power outage they experienced in Southern California and Arizona and Mexico. Tell the crowd's been taken out of this game as you can hear the vendors.
Right.
Crowd mics.
Right. Sounds like they're talking to us, Al.
Does. Maybe they are.
Full count to Prado. Late swing. And we'll do it again. Freddie Freeman, the runner at second base. Just 21 years of age. Freeman having an outstanding season, and Jackson trying to stop the bleeding here in the first. Freeman, Al, you think about him as a potential rookie of the year, but maybe his closest competition is his teammate.
Yeah, and maybe they split the votes like Fielder and Braun.
Ground ball to the left side. Furcal gobbles it up. The ex-Brave throws out the current Brave. Atlanta strikes first. Cardinals, their first trip when we come back. give you a look at the Cardinals batting order here tonight. Rafael Furcal, John Jay, and Albert Pujols in the first. Then Holiday, Berkman, Freese, Schumacher, Molina, and Edwin Jackson against the young right-hander Randall Delgado.
Well, Delgado is tough on right-handers. They're batting 182 with 2 home runs. Changeup's his best pitch. And we're told for a youngster only 21 years of age that he has good mound presence. I used to hear that and say, well, what does that mean? He gets shellacked all over the ballpark and he just takes it? Sometimes it can be.
So you don't want him to be
bad.
You don't want him to be too poised, right?
Exactly. But no, he's got a good live fastball. Got that good changeup and a slider.
6'3", 200-pounder from Panama.
A lot of ball players from Panama.
Nice to be 21 years of age and in the big leagues.
You have to think the military bases, the naval base there in Panama, probably had somewhat influence on the youth.
2-1 to Furcal. Slaps it foul. Furcal's been an interesting addition to this Cardinal team. Now we've seen his great defense, but 5 of his 7 home runs have come against Milwaukee.
Yeah. Up in Milwaukee, you know, remember he hit 2 leadoff home runs, 1 from each side of the plate. They got to play him around the left.
Big gap in right center. Full count now to Furcal.
Which we saw Furcal, I believe it was Tuesday night, get a couple hits to left, the old Matty Alou fashion.
And ball 4. Good start for the Cardinals. Furcal the runner at first. Here's the defense for the Atlanta Braves. Martin Prado, Bourne, and Hayward in right. Chipper Jones, the veteran Jack Wilson now the shortstop. Ugla and Freeman on the right side. Brian McCann, the perennial all-star. And Randall Delgado, the young pitcher.
John Jay is hot.
En fuego, you might say.
Muy caliente.
Muy caliente. Very good, Al.
John Jay has had an explosive September, batting .522 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs in his last 6 games.
By far the best homestand of any Cardinal hitter. He's 11 for 18, 6-game hitting streak. The average now up to .308. Furcal not going. Swing and a miss. There's that changeup.
Yeah, really great arm action on it. Maybe a lot of movement towards the plate, and then they had the good arm speed with it, and then the ball just comes out about a foot after you expect it. Call 298 career steals, but none since the trade that brought him to the Cardinals.
Interesting.
I think he's only ran 1 time, but in all the double plays the Cardinals have hit into, you'd love to see a little movement on the base path.
Was at 11 for 18, a couple of home runs to go along with it, and maybe a hit and run count here. The hit and run count certainly has changed over the years. Now you just do it when you feel like it. 1 and 2. Is he going? He's not. All nubbed foul.
But isn't it funny? Is 30-40 years ago a 2-1 count was always considered a running count. Now the managers control the running game, and so no one ever hit and run on 2 and 1. I think you could do it again, and people would be shocked because they're not ever expecting it. We haven't seen one in years.
The 1-2 pitch. Popped up on the left side. Out goes the shortstop Wilson. Shallow left field. He has sure hands. Out number 1.
It reminds you of a Yogi Berra saying nobody goes there anymore because it's, it's too crowded.
Right. About the restaurant, right?
Right.
Sometimes, Al, you remind me of Yogi Berra, I must say. You have you guys are thinking on another level.
That's only because I'm the only graduate of the Mike Shannon School of Diction.
Congratulations. Where's your diploma?
We haven't worked on that yet. Take too much out of the budget.
Pujols at the plate. For call the runner at first, not going, and a slider down and away, ball 1. Albert has scored 91 runs this year. Kind of a part of his statistics we don't talk about a lot, but there's his power numbers. 34-85 among the league leaders. Number 1 in home runs.
Still within reach of that 300, but he better pick up the pace on his RBIs at 15 away from 100. For 11 consecutive years, he's had 30 or more home runs, trying to do so in batting average over 300 and RBIs over 100 for 11 consecutive years. That's to start a career.
2-0, also considered a good hit and run count.
Well, one thing Tony will tell you too, though, you can't really hit and run if your pitcher doesn't have a lot of control. It appears that Delgado does.
Not going, although he looked as if he wanted to go. For call, maybe didn't get a good jump there, and again that ball 3 to the plate, so certainly not going here.
You still got to believe that Albert has a green light. He has a green light on 3-0, so he could send it.
And they do. And the green light results in a base hit to right field for call. Round second. And heads to third. A hit and run on a 3-0 count. Well, now I've seen it all.
Well, I mean, you think about it. If it's in the strike zone, Albert's going to be swinging at it. If it's ball 4, you're safe at second anyway.
Not only is Furcal safe at second, he's also safe at third. Safe and secure. New York Light. Matt Holliday with an opportunity now to get the Cardinals back in this game. Batting average at .301. He had his 200th home run in Milwaukee.
Albert and Holliday, big averages against Braves.
Only Aramis Ramirez has a better batting average lifetime against the Braves than those two. Ramirez at .386, Pujols and Holliday right behind him. So Ramirez hits the Braves at .386. He hits us about .386. Who gets him out?
Himself with injury.
You're probably right.
The DL.
Two 2-0 Atlanta. Swing and a miss.
Wiry frame of Delgado, and they really haven't figured out that changeup yet.
For Colin Pujols, the runners. The 1-2. This is away 2-2.
It's one of the things that Mark McGwire is still having a little trouble with, is how dependent all the today's hitters are on video, where he used a little bit of video and just got a crack bat or something, switch it. But Mark always said, I used to trust my own eyes. You can watch video, but it's not can't really simulate what it is like standing in that batter's box and seeing the arm action when you're in the, at plate. And that's what Mark said. I wasn't a guess hitter, I was a location hitter.
Think about the success Jeff Bagwell had with the Astros in the second half last year when he kind of said, let's not talk about the video so much. I want you to get the feel of hitting. And it worked.
And then he quit.
Right. The 3-2 to Holiday's hit on the ground to the left side. Jones has it. His only play is at first. And he gets Holiday, but a RBI ground out for Matt Holliday, and it's now 2-1 Atlanta.
Just peck away. Hope Jackson will settle down after the 2-run first inning. And preferably you get another 2-out base hit, drive in Albert, you got a tie game.
But it does feel as if you've got the most important run, and that's that run just to get on the board.
Get on the board. Got a young rookie out there, only his 4th career start. Started at AA and came up early in the season at one point, and or started AA and went to AAA, but really his numbers there were basically 500.
Delgado before this season, 16-32 in his minor league career, all at low levels, good ERA, a lot of strikeouts. It's that changeup's been the difference maker for him. This ball hit into the right field corner, and it is a foul ball, says the first base umpire, Chris Guccione. Very close call. And Dave McKay and Lance Berkman aren't sure about it.
It's not chalk, but it sure looks like it landed right on the line. Maybe an 1/8 of the ball lands on the white part.
I think that's a fair ball, Al.
I don't think we had any argument if we were caught.
Now I don't.
They look for it. I like the other angle better.
I do.
And was it just, and maybe if you look at it too, think about it, more the indentation is in foul territory, and it kicked the dirt on the line.
I think you got it right with that second view. Either way, it's foul. Now it's 1-1. Our first bank first take. Talked about rookie starters earlier, Al. 40 games. Most in the National League. Only the Mariners with more starts by a rookie pitcher this season.
We've had 4 consecutive.
And they're winning.
That's the hard thing, because most of those on that list were losing clubs.
And that was our first bank first take. We are banking on your future.
Philadelphia with an early 3-0 lead over Milwaukee. Could be a telltale series for Milwaukee.
Check swing. No, it wasn't, says Corey Blazer. So rough at bat for Berkman. The Cardinals back in at 2-1. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals. 2-1 is our score. Top of the second inning. Jackson and Delgado. In the bottom of the order for Atlanta, Jason Hayward hits from the left side, and he hits a line drive foul just past the first base umpire, Chris Guccione. I think the fans want him to call that one fair. Is that what they're
I think
cheering about?
One foul.
Make sure he got it right.
Long discussion with our first base umpire, Chris Guccione, and Lance Berkman, but handled in a professional way, as asking for a clarification on that ball very close to the line. And but you can talk to umpires, just do it the right way.
And ended up being a frustrating at bat for Berkman because he got called out on a check swing where he didn't think he went around. So game of handling frustration, isn't it? Hayward's had some of that this year.
It really is. It's a game of failure. You know, even a hitter, if you're going to fail 70% of the time and considered to be great. Hayward, after the big season last year, kind of come back down to earth, the .223 average.
Jackson thought about tagging Hayward and decided he was a little bit bigger than Jackson was, and decided he'd just flip it over to Albert, a little bit safer.
You almost deke your first baseman in that case.
Jackson has shown some athleticism on the mound.
Yeah, he really, you can tell he's a good athlete. You know, when he's in the batter's box, he has the ability to swing the bat, field his position.
Jack Wilson.
It's funny seeing Jack Wilson in any uniform other than the Pirates.
I agree.
Cardinal farmhand, who at the time kind of thought he was a little too flashy, liked to dive all the time and leave his feet, but he's become a very solid shortstop at the big league level. And when he first came up as a hitter, you know, all they asked him to do was sacrifice, but he's become much better than that.
Check swing, and he went around, says the home plate umpire. 1-2. I recall the collision that Jack Wilson had. I believe it was Freddie Sanchez, the second baseman, in Pittsburgh, and he was knocked out cold, and I was concerned about where he might go from there, but he ended up being fine the next day. He's a tough competitor. He pops this one up. Out number 2. And we'll take a look at our Toyota keys to the game, the last 5 outings from Edwin Jackson.
3-1, 2.50 ERA. Potential free agent, as Cardinals were at least considered more likely to be in a pennant race. A lot more scouts were seeing some of those good outings, and it's a pretty weak, starting, pool of starting pitchers that are potential free agents, where Jackson is considered about 3rd or 4th best.
1-1 to Delgado, looking for his first major league hit. And you wonder, with Jackson, with all the bouncing around he's done, how many teams are going to say, you know what, we're going to go 4 or 5 years with you after he's bounced around. I would think some teams might be shy about that.
I mean, he's 27 now.
Correct.
27. He's on his 5th ball club, and you could just tell where a lot of clubs, you look at his physical physique, you look at his stuff, and you go, this guy should be a big winner. It's been inconsistent.
Strikeout number 1, bottom of the second, 2-1 Atlanta. Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by BMW. Come out to the BMW Drive for Team USA event and get behind the wheel of a BMW to show your support. And everybody on HP. Very nutritious meal here at the ballpark. Bottom of the second, 2-1 Atlanta. David Freese, Skip Schumacher, and Yadier Molina set for Randall Delgado.
I think there's some GIs over in Afghanistan that all of a sudden thought that their food wasn't that bad.
There's a line drive to center. Bourne has good speed. He was well played and well placed defensively, and he is a Gold Glover out there in center.
No doubt about it. Really, the Braves gave up a lot of young talent to get the Gold Glover and stolen base champion Michael Bourne. Still a young player, so
I like the way he plays too. He very aggressive defensively. Doesn't have the greatest arm, but gets a lot of assists because he charges the ball, and he really works at his defense. Obviously, works at his base stealing. I would imagine he's happy to be a Brave instead of an Astro right now.
Oh, yeah. That far out, trying to avoid 100 losses, which is going to probably be impossible. We'd much rather be fighting for a wild card spot. Houston, 95 losses. And they're playing a little better. They're playing 500 ball now.
Schumacher is 0 for his last 8. Takes a breaking pitch low, 2-2. Solid year offensively for Skip Schumacher. And right around that 300 mark.
Think about the 34 games he missed and then was rushed back to the big leagues. Only had basically, I think, 4 or 5 at bats at extended spring. So had to get his timing back at the major league level. Out of necessity, because of Punto was hurt again, and Skip was rushed back. Didn't say a word, but knew that his average would suffer for a while.
The ball trying to make its way back fair, and finally the first baseman Freeman comes and gets it. That ball hit off the cutout of the grass. And the dirt started to roll back fair again, and if it does roll back fair, it would have been an infield hit for Schumacher.
And at that point, he was already basically past the bag, and no one at the bag to make a play. So good thing Freeman did get out there and reach on it.
Talking about injuries, and Skip Schumacher and the Cardinals have had their share, but so has Atlanta. 2 of their top starting pitchers are out. You might not see them the rest of the season, Jurgens and Hansen, and yet they keep on winning. Tough play for Jones, and he should have let Terry Pendleton take that one.
Terry Pendleton, one of the best. The first base coach for Atlanta Braves, one of the best at going back and making an over-the-shoulder catch. They're a little bit quicker than Chipper Jones, playing on those knees that have kind of given him fits, but our Plaza Tire service. There's TP.
I think he knows we're talking about him. Ground ball to short. Dug out by Freeman. Out number 2. Make sure to stop by the Step Up to the Plate Against Hepatitis C testing event on Saturday, September 24th at the Ford Plaza inside Busch Stadium. Get the facts, get tested. Learn more at allaboutHepC.com/baseball. Yadier Molina Also a solid year offensively. His number's over 290. He is just 1 for his last 12.
Getting a little more rest this year, and last 2 Septembers he had his season cut short due to knee problems, just the wear and tear. So by design, Gerald Laird getting a few more starts, trying to ease the wear and tear on Molina. Paid off offensively.
Sometimes that wear and tear, not only Yadi's feeling it, but we can see it. You can see by the way he plays, runs the bases. There are just times where he's just flat worn out. And we have not seen that as much this year.
That was part of their game plan, bringing in Gerald Laird. And Laird's made 21 starts, but there's been a few blowout games where Yadi would get a last couple innings off.
When you're tired, that bat gets a little heavier, swing a little slower.
Remember, you're sitting there in a crouch all day, too.
For 3 hours plus. 1-2-3 inning for Randall Delgado. On FoxSportsMidwest.com. As you watch the game on TV, you can join the conversation about the game on Twitter, track trends and stats. Game Connect. Find it at FoxSportsMidwest.com. 2-1 Braves, top of the 3rd inning. Rick Horton with Al Roboski and Jim Hayes here for the 3rd inning. Edwin Jackson back to work. Gave up 2 runs in that 1st inning. A Brian McCann double and a Freddie Freeman double. Cardinals answered with a run in the 1st inning. RBI ground out by Matt Holliday. And there's your score, 2-1. Michael Bourne leads it off against Jackson. And a line drive, base hit the other way.
David Freese playing way in on the grass at 3rd. Kind of creates a little opening there. He's kind of guided that ball over to the left side of the infield for his 2nd hit.
Jackson hoping for a shutdown inning here in the 3rd inning. And Jim, glad you're with us. Here's that last pitch, the line drive the other way. Edwin Jackson now has given up 4 hits, and you found out a little bit about the pregame routine of Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, he likes to eat at the same place. It's his favorite place in St. Louis called Sweetie Pies. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Oh, I am.
Off Manchester.
No, I'm sorry.
Favorite meal? Had it today.
What is
catfish, mac and cheese. And apparently this is a well-renowned soul food place. The Oprah channel is here doing a feature on it, and he goes there all the time, and he loves to have that before he starts. Pitchers try to get into a routine.
Always interesting, Al, to think about the difference between superstition and routine, and sometimes you're not really sure where that line crosses over as to whether or not you think there's some power to that, but guys certainly like to have routine.
Most definitely, and some carry to extremes. Wade Boggs had to have chicken. He could be prepared many different ways, but he had to have chicken. He would go out on the field at a certain time. He would run and jog at a certain time. I think it all had to end with a 7.
What had to end with a 7?
Well, he started his running at 7:17.
Gotcha.
Take the field at 7:07. Finishes running at 7:27.
It worked for him.
Hall of Famer. 1-1 to Chipper Jones. Line drive caught by Schumacher.
Good base running by Bourne. Natural tendency is to break towards the base on the line drive and try and go from first to third. But Skip, not that tall, but gets up, hauls in the line drive, and Michael Bourne didn't make that false step. Came back.
So out number 1 here in the 3rd inning. Bourne still the runner at first. Again, a threat to steal. 51 on the season.
2 pretty good hard hit balls by Chipper Jones and nothing to show for it.
2,600 hits in his career. Been fun to watch him develop over the years.
Over 450 plus home runs, over 1,500 RBIs, and doing it as a switch hitter gives you Hall of Fame numbers.
We've seen Jackson give it up a little in the early innings and then settle in. Hopefully that'll happen tonight.
That's not unusual for starting pitchers.
Jim, you had a great pregame interview with Adron Chambers, and he has said that it's Adron. Got his name right.
Adron. I asked him right before the interview just to check. What a delightful young guy, and a compelling story too. He tells a story of played college football, went back to baseball, and got invited to a tryout camp in Memphis with the Cardinals. Had no money, so he took a bus, 24-hour bus trip, and when he got there, he thought it was St. Louis. He didn't know until much later that was Memphis, but it worked out because the Cardinals did draft him.
They didn't draft him on his geography. They drafted him on his athletic ability.
Said that it was such a beautiful stadium. And it is a miniature, big league park.
Ground ball. Pujols backhands it, gets the lead runner at second, and back to first. A 3-6-3 double play hit into by Brian McCann. On to the bottom of the 3rd. Cardinals trail by 1. receive a collectible Cardinals pennant, perfect for the baseball-themed bedroom, courtesy of Coca-Cola and the Pasta House Company. To ensure your young fan receives his or hers, visit Cardinals.com for tickets. Coca-Cola friends here at the ballpark tonight. And they're hoping the Cardinals can pick up a run here in the bottom of the third and tie this game. The Braves lead 2-1. And Edwin Jackson, the pitcher, will lead off for St. Louis. And as Al said earlier, he's shown some athleticism and he's shown some ability with the bat. And we might say he has the best swing of all the Cardinal pitchers currently without Adam Wainwright. But we also might say, Jim Hayes, that that's not saying very much.
This guy is an athlete, though, and he looks like a hitter up there.
Still love that piece you did with the pitchers talking about how inept each other was.
That was Dan Hyatt, the producer, with that together. Good job.
Your voice is all I remember. Ground ball up the middle, going to be a tough play, and he is safe. Infield single for Edwin Jackson.
You know, the knock on Ugla is he can't play defense, but Braves would tell you that that is undeserved. Right back over the middle, so Ugla going up the middle, and you see the great stretch here. Freddie Freeman get all the way out there.
That's old school stretch right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's old school pull a hammy, pull a groin stretch.
Ugla's defensive reputation might have been hurt by the public bad night that he had. What was it, the All-Star game?
All-Star game.
Fly ball to left, fading out of play. And, you know, at that time, there were probably a lot of people watching that All-Star game that didn't know who Dan Ugla was. And all of a sudden we see him for the first time. He doesn't do much with the bat and makes the multiple errors in that game. And all of a sudden we have a feeling about Dan Ugla as a defender.
He's pretty good Rule 5 pickup, isn't he? It's in his 11th Major League season, third organization. Excuse me, that's Ugla, you know, leads all Major League second basemen with 187 home runs since '06.
A lot of power.
And 14 home runs in the 7th inning or later lead the majors. Horrible first half, but
there goes Jackson. He's running on the pitch, and he is going to be out at second base. Had to be a missed sign there somewhere. Jackson is caught stealing 2-6.
You would think it looked like, and he is a good athlete, but Brian McCann just gunned him out with plenty to spare.
Sweetie Pie's capish makes you feel frisky on the base pass.
I guess. Missouri Lottery bringing us Fox Tracks this half inning. And it shows that pitch high and away on the changeup. And still have to believe, Al, there was a missed sign there. Maybe not.
I kind of agree with you, but.
And that hurts even more. And
Furcal kind of threw the bat there. Maybe like he missed the sign. Kind of get that feeling?
I do. I do.
That second walk.
John Jay bats one out. Furcal the runner at first base. We mentioned Jay having a very good homestand. Jay, one of the Cardinal tweeters.
They got a few of them.
There's a few players that do that. You talked to Tony a little bit about what he thinks about players doing that.
Well, after the incident with Niger Morgan and Chris Carpenter the other night, Niger started tweeting some unflattering things about the Cardinals, and in particular Albert Pujols. I hadn't seen that before.
Right.
So I asked Tony not just about that, but his general feeling about players tweeting. And he said if players do it sensibly and responsibly, he's fine with it. If his players did what Niger did, he would ban it in the clubhouse. And I said, Tony, you tweet. And he said, no, Arf does. Because Arf tweets for Tony. But there are already some restrictions as to when players can use social media and when they can't. There's a a window when the clubhouse is closed. No one's supposed to be doing that, so they do keep an eye on it. Tony said the way his guys do it, he's all for it because, again, they do it sensibly.
Remember Logan Morrison earlier this year. Of course, he wasn't hitting much for the Florida Marlins, but got sent to the minor leagues because of some of his tweets.
How about that? Throw to first. Milwaukee still trails the Phillies 3-0. That's Halladay going against the Milwaukee Brewers. That game in the bottom of the third.
I kind of got the sense when we were in Milwaukee a few weeks ago that when the Cardinals swept them, that the really wasn't panic mode for the players, but the town was sensing a collapse. And really won since 1982, so you can understand how they're a little oversensitive.
Good off-speed pitch. Fans John Jay, and very off balance for a guy that's been red hot.
I kind of get the feeling that Jim Fregosi, the advanced scout for Atlanta, saw something that maybe it's off speed. Don't give Jay a fastball if you can help it.
Saw Jim at the ballpark here last week, and that's what
you played for him.
I did. Played for him twice with the Cardinals and with the White Sox. Cardinals in the minor leagues. And very good baseball man, and I saw him here at the ballpark last week, and that's what he's doing, checking out, trying to get trends, trying to see pitches guys can't hit, and passing it along.
I asked Jim Fregosi one time, and I'll tell you after Albert's at bat or Nick's inning, but
yeah, we'll watch Albert hit a line drive first. How's that?
That's it.
Want to know to Albert, the Cardinals, Fox Sports, and the state of Missouri teaming up to help you stop smoking. More information, call the Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Ricky, some of you grew up as in the state of New York, watching the Mets play. I bet you probably approved of that trade, bringing Fregosi to the Mets.
At that time, you bet I did.
And the guy that went the other way?
Yeah, he wasn't a very good pitcher at the time.
Nolan Ryan. Jim was retired for about the last 14 or 15 years of no one pitching, maybe even longer.
Curveball misses. And I've got another good friend, Tom Wallace, who was traded for Pete Rose.
Pete Rose straight up.
Go pitch here for Albert, 2-1. Now 3-1. Recall the runner at first. He was off on a 3-0 pitch to Albert in the first inning when Albert hit a line drive to right center.
Delgado's being very careful with Albert. Second time he's run the count to 3 balls. First time Albert got a base hit to right.
I think Albert's looking for a changeup here. Usually guys with a good changeup, they like to throw it when they're behind in the count, try to get the hitter off balance, a little over anxious. It's usually their go-to pitch. I'm looking for a changeup, Jim.
You look for the changeup, I'll look for the fastball.
I'll score.
Change up, swing and a miss, stolen base, however, as for call, had a very nice jump.
The reason I was looking for a fastball is because I was hoping I could adjust to the changeup.
Well, you're out, and I just went deep. Is that how you're scoring it, Jim?
Ricky wins.
Jim will meet in the alley.
Not always good to beat Al. Sometimes there are repercussions.
Absolutely.
Tying run now at second base. In for call. The 3-2. This ball's hit deep, down the line, hooking, a foul.
Tony La Russa said they have plenty of tape on Delgado, but if you haven't seen a pitcher before,
that's
right.
The
advantage is with the pitcher.
It's always with the pitcher. The first time you face him.
Two outstanding players, Chipper Jones and Albert Pujols, have been company men.
You'd like to think that Chipper's going to finish his illustrious career with the Atlanta Braves, and all Cardinal Nation is hopeful of saying the same thing about Albert.
Full count to number 5. And it's popped up on the infield.
Three straight changeups.
Albert is retired. Furcal is stranded. 4th inning, 2-1 Atlanta. Dan Uggla popped out in the 1st inning, leads off the 4th inning. Slider taken high and in for a ball. Two to 1 Atlanta. Pops this one up, a big swing from Uggla, and it's a mile high. Schumacher's having trouble with it, but does not make the play. Uggla may be hung up between 1st and 2nd, but they don't recognize it. And he is aboard. Schumacher could not hang on. That was a tough play for him. He went a long way to get it, and probably should have been the outfielder's ball.
No doubt about it. That is a very tough play on Schumacher. He does what he's supposed to do because that's an outfielder's ball. John Jay needs to take charge, or Lance Berkman, but the center fielder is always the one. Now, Skip Schumacher, the converted outfielder, it's the first time I've ever seen him miss a fly ball, but that's tough backpedaling that far back there. That's a center fielder needs to take charge.
And the ruling is error on Schumacher, but Al and I both want to give that error to the center fielder, John Jay, who has been very good defensively.
Yes, he has.
And so we don't want to be too harsh on him, but that's really what a center fielder should do.
Yeah, and I'm sure he probably right now is berating himself a little bit. You know, like, just don't ever assume that that's an easy play for an infielder backing up. It's much easier for you coming in on that ball. And you got to show that you want everything, especially if you're playing center field.
It's funny that you say he's probably berating himself as he's blowing a bubble in center field. But what we understand about these guys, Al, is there are times where on the exterior you're not showing what's going on internally.
Right. And you know, when he comes into the dugout, I'm sure Dave McKay will mention something to him, and And they'll probably say, yep, I already learned a valuable lesson. And everybody learns lessons, even at this level. But what you hope to is you learn that lesson and then you never repeat it again. Dave McKay, that works so well with the outfielders.
Looks like he's poised to do some communication of his own.
If he doesn't do it, you know.
You want him, or do you want me to take him? You yell at him yesterday? No. I haven't yelled at him. Well, okay, I'll do it.
I was going to tell you the story about Fregosi. I asked Jim, and Jim had managed several big league clubs, and one time when he was out of a job, I said, you know, I heard such and such really audition or interviews well. I said, what does that mean? He goes, I'll tell you what that means. I went to interview for a job recently, just happened to be north of the border, and he said, I sat down, and this gentleman talking to me, started asking me questions, and they seemed like they were a little off-base questions. I said, so Jim said, how long have you been in baseball? He said, well, I've been in baseball 3 years. I'm a sports psychologist.
Oh, boy.
And Jim told him, I've been in baseball 40 plus years. Don't you think I should be asking you the questions?
Oh, that's funny. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall for that.
He didn't get that job. He didn't get that job. Jim Fregosi, good guy, but he will speak his mind, won't he?
Absolutely. One of the many things I love about him. Full count to Freddie Freeman. Dangerous pitch here. Ugla the runner at first. There he goes. And the pitch is popped into left field, and it's going to be a bloop hit for Freddie Freeman. That's his second already here tonight. Hasn't hit a ball hard, but he's 2 for 2, and runners at the corners now for Atlanta. Amy and Jessica are ready to show you what's going on in St. Louis sports. That's Amy, that's Jessica. Follow the Fox Sports Midwest girls on Twitter and like them on Facebook. Head to foxsportsmidwest.com for more information and photo galleries. Martin Prado. Chance for the Atlanta Braves to tack on here in the 4th inning. There's a good slider on the corner. That's the best one we've seen from him so far tonight.
A few of them have been spinners, kind of stayed up in the zone a little bit. And I'm sure he's starting to wear down a little bit to where now he can stay on top of that slider and they'll have good bite. Not that he's getting tired, but sometimes you find the groove.
Another good slider, 0-2. All about the release point to get into that groove. Rhythm's another word that players talk about quite a bit. A lot of attitude in this, a lot of confidence.
I never heard the word mechanics until Joe McGrain started using it.
Blame him?
That was not a word that was used often.
There are some proper fundamental things.
Stuff.
Yeah, but there are some proper fundamental things you need to do right.
Sure.
Swing and a miss. 3 straight sliders. Nasty ones from Jackson. And Martin Prado is the 3rd hardest batter in the National League to strike out. He just did it on 3 pitches.
You can see that. Look at the little spin on there. You can almost read the dot on that slider. It's so tight. Doesn't have to break a whole lot, but it breaks down. And just a little vertical movement. And if you can place it out there and start it on the outside corner, have it break off the plate, it's even better. Almost slowed up everything too much on that changeup.
Hayward bounced out to Jackson, leading off the 2nd inning. Cardinals hoping for a double play here. Schumacher playing Hayward to pull. Going to be a tough double play if hit to the left side.
Hayward Just the second player in Major League history to hit a home run in his first at bat in each of his first 2 seasons. Instant celebrity when he did that last year in his rookie season.
Sure was.
At home, parents watching.
He was crowned the Rookie of the Year before spring training ended.
Yep.
Jackson does something that people may be unfamiliar with the pitching motion. They don't realize that this is not a balk. He'll turn his shoulder to first base, but he'll do that before he comes set.
Right.
There he does it. Now he's set. Now he can't turn it again. He's checking on that runner. 2-1 pitch. At the knees. Good fastball there. Home plate umpire tonight, Mike Everett, crew chief.
Acting crew chief, Mike Winters, and our third base umpire, I can't ever remember hearing his name, Corey Blazer.
2-2.
Mike Winters. This was his crew, and he got stranded in San Diego with the power outage in Southern California, Arizona, Mexico.
The game mushes on. That's how resilient this game is.
He might have been on his umpire's vacation time and extended it a little bit.
One of the hard things we have to realize is this game goes on without us, Al.
Oh, yeah.
Full count to Hayward. Here goes the runner. Pop foul.
Milton and Kim Dravis, Cocoa, Florida, watching this game, rooting for the Cardinals.
And so is our dear friend Jay Randolph, who we miss.
How's Jay doing?
Jay's doing fine. He's recovering, and he's had a little back surgery, but he's doing fine, and look forward to seeing him back in the saddle again. He's been a great contributor for Fox Sports Midwest and really Cardinal baseball for so many years, and just really appreciate Jay's friendship. We all do at Fox.
Lena saw something that he decided he wanted to have a little conversation with Jackson.
And now for a call. Got a little conference going on here.
One reason to bring in the shortstop is if they wanted to change the sequence or the pitches they are putting down, but can't say it's because somebody at second base is reading the signs. But you want one of your middle infielders to know, because they like to know what's coming. Send it.
There goes the runner, and it's ball 4. Bases full of Atlanta Braves. Ugla, Freeman, and Hayward. Freeman and Hayward, 21 years of age and 22. So this team is definitely the team of the future, at least over the next 5 years or so. They're just going to be in it every year, Al.
Starters 21. Delgado, those power arms in the bullpen aren't very old. There are a lot of young kids in their early 20s. Just like Tom Sarsfield, who's celebrating his 70th birthday today. A member of the St. Louis Baseball Hall of Fame. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I thought Tom was 70 10 years ago.
Nope, 70 today.
I'll have to ask him about that. There's the collision between Wilson and the second baseman. Not Freddie Sanchez.
Boy, just look at his eyes.
But he was out cold, and that was a scary moment in Pittsburgh. Ball hit by So Taguchi. Swing and a miss.
Big out right there. Third strikeout. Now you bring up the pitcher, but a good slider. Good hard bite to it, but down and away beyond the strike zone.
This would be decent work here if he's able to get out of this inning without any tallies.
Well, you know, it's really how you should feel. You know, okay, you got the base loaded, but you got 8 and 9 coming up. You should feel that you can blow away anybody's 8 and 9. Just said, Delgado looking for his first major league hit. 0 for 5, soon to be 0 for 6. 0 and 2.
Check swing. No, he did not check swing. He went around. And Delgado, boy, you look at his face, Alan, he looks like he's about 13.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, in the notes, they've got him listed as 12.
Well, we're going to list him as out right there. And there it is. Listed as 12 in the notes. How about that? Matt Holliday will lead it off for St. Louis when we come back. ...1991, how many seasons have the Braves not participated in postseason play, not counting the 1994 strike year? 3, 2, 1.
4 seasons.
We give you 3 seconds to think on those trivia questions, so you've got to be ready for them. I counted.
Freddie Gonzalez done a great job taking over for future Hall of Famer Bobby Cox, but just seems weird not seeing Bobby down in that dugout.
One sign of his good leadership, though, is he has left this team in good shape, and he did not leave a sinking ship. He left a team that was playing well and getting better.
And John Sherholtz should be very proud of what they've accomplished together. You talk about a general manager and a manager on the same page. And of course, Bobby Cox was the general manager at one point. And there's Freddie Gonzalez, who had a stint as a coach under Bobby Cox, and you'd like to think that you know, when he was let go, probably not fairly by the Marlins that it was just a perfect scenario for him to take over, the Atlanta Braves. And Roger McDowell is his pitching coach right there to his left.
My favorite Roger McDowell story is the time as the closer for the Dodgers that he went and dressed in his clothes, sat in the stands, and started heckling his own manager, Tommy Lasorda, during the game. He's yelling, "Hey, Tommy, hey, Tommy." And he's screaming at him how he's a terrible manager. And Tommy's sitting there thinking, I know that voice. And he turns around and it's his closer.
Well, he was really a prankster, but
I'll say
that Bobby Cox gave him a lot of credit. Really felt like he was an excellent pitching coach, and the Braves feel very fortunate to have him. And he's a little more serious these days.
Well, you have to set a good example for these young, impressionable pitchers. Now has glasses now. I still wouldn't sit next to him. High fly ball to center field. Bourne settles under it.
Now a hot foot waiting to happen, huh?
Exactly. By the way, you smell those hot foots first before you feel them? You've had one, haven't you?
No.
Really?
No. Nobody's going to do it to me. They knew that I didn't mess around the bullpen.
Huh. It's a long season, Al. Might be a first time yet.
You know what? Might be the first time you fly out of the broadcast booth, too. See if you got wings.
Oh, boy. One out here in the Cardinal fourth. For Lance Berkman, he struck out in the first inning after nearly tying this game. He had a line drive down the right field line that was inches foul.
Worst thing that happened to me was somebody made a fatal mistake of putting dirt in my glove, in the fingers. Just filled it full of dirt. It didn't go over very well.
You remember who it was?
He's dead.
I shouldn't be laughing at that. I'm assuming you're kidding.
No.
Were you angry with him?
Very much so. Ooh. And three others. Because they laughed.
Al, do you happen to have the phone number of that sports psychologist that Jim Fregosi was interviewing with the other day? I think we might need him.
R.B. Dorfman.
Okay.
I remember him.
I do know who Harvey Dorfman is. Read his book, The Mental Game of Baseball, a couple of times.
That was not the sports psychologist, but that was one of the first that I can remember. And Oakland A's had it. And then most recently, I saw him surface a few years ago with the Florida Marlins.
Some very helpful thoughts on the game. The 3-1 pitch to Berkman is ball 4, and Lance is aboard with 1 out. Every Sunday during the 2 hours prior to the Cardinals game, enjoy free frozen treats and win fun prizes in the Ford Plaza courtesy of North Star. For ticket information, visit Cardinals.com. One 1-0 to David Freese. Working quickly.
Said that he has good mound presence. Gets there, looks down, kind of concentrates. It's 2-0, so it takes a little more time. But basically, looks in for the sign, gets ready, and pitches.
Line drive to right. Down in front of Jason Hayward. A 1-out hit for David Freese. Berkman had to hold up just a bit, Al, as that ball was hit right on the nose.
I remember from his angle, he can't really tell. He looks at it and goes, oh, okay, it's going to be a line drive that's caught, or will it fall in front? So there's Roger McDowell out with some information for his youngster. Remember, they're talking about these guys really being 5-inning pitchers, 6 at the most. Delgado has averaged 5 innings in his previous 3 starts.
You wonder if they're just being careful with it, too, on that 6th inning.
Yeah, I believe so. And then the real factor is, too, they can't wait to get into that bullpen because they've been so good.
Back into the Braves bullpen, Venters, Kimbrel, and O'Flaherty. Combined ERA of 1.42.
And Kimbrel leading the National League with 43 saves.
And the added value of a couple of those guys being left-handed creates some balance out there. So the Cardinals need the runs early. Trailing by 1 here in the 4th.
Beachy, one of their starters, is 25. Kimbrel, their ace reliever, 23. Freddie Freeman, 21. Hayward, 22. They got Delgado's 21. And I'm sure there's a few more. Just left their teenage years a few years ago.
Ground ball to the right side, backhanded by Freeman. Gets the runner at second. No chance at doubling up Schumacher. So now it's up to Yadier Molina if the Cardinals are going to score here in the 4th. They've been out hit by Atlanta 5-3.
Activity, a right-hander up in the bullpen. This is also, I mean, it's an Achilles heel for most teams, is who do you have to bridge the gap from a starter that doesn't go deep into a game until you can get to your finishers in the 7th or 8th. They're the veteran line break. A couple years ago, you'd be a guy that would be a good setup man. So maybe he's the one that can bridge that gap right now.
Value, 2 on Molina.
Value of having a guy like Molina in the 8th spot. Tony La Russa considers him to be a very good RBI man. Career high with 12 home runs, 53 RBIs, and a .290 average. Shade him a little bit to hit to the opposite field. We agree with that. Big gap out in left center. And on the right side of the infield, just very inviting for him to go to the opposite field.
The 1-2.
And then with that fastball, you don't see a lot of catchers, put a repeat location side, repeat back inside. A lot of times it's in, then go away. Where you can get a lot of guys leaning away, and you don't have to make that good a pitch inside, and they'll jam themselves. Just repeat another fastball out there.
Berkman and Schumacher the runners. Cardinals trail by 1 in the 4th.
Big pitch right here in the game, and you make sure you're on the same page. Go out and talk about it. Catcher should be putting down a suggestion and then the pitcher, that W or that L goes behind his name, so he ultimately decides what he wants to throw. And if he's throwing something the catcher wants him to throw and doesn't have a total conviction behind it, it'll be a bad pitch. Third fastball in a row to round the count full. Both runners be going with full count and 2 outs. Can he throw his changeup here?
I think he will.
Smarty pants.
I'm looking for it. The 3-2. Ground ball to the right side. Ugla throws out Molina. Cardinals threaten here in the 4th, but still trail Atlanta 2-1. Tomorrow night, Lowe and Garcia. Coverage begins at 5:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. Garcia looking for victory number 12, and the Cardinals hoping that that'll be a night where they'll be looking for 2 straight from the Braves. They're trying to chase Atlanta, and they've got an uphill climb, certainly, if they have any thoughts about being in the playoffs. Al and Mike Shannon shared on our pregame show, he thinks that there is not much of a chance at all, and we'd have to agree with him, but you still have to keep playing.
Sure, and you know, as long as you're a ball player, you've got to have it in the back of your mind that you do have a chance. It's a lot easier to be playing these games in September if you're playing for something. So you manufacture in your mind that you're right there and have some fun. The only way to have fun, though, is to win.
Braves scored 2 runs in the first inning against Edwin Jackson, and he's been decent since then. He did load the bases in the 4th inning, but a couple of strikeouts ended that threat.
Wasn't that the same formula? With, you know, Cincinnati scored 2 runs off him in his last start, and that was all they got. Ricky, you said something very interesting where, you know, ball club, you know, leads in batting average, runs scored, all these different offensive categories. But if you told that to even very good Cardinal fans, they'd be surprised.
Wow, watch out. Line drive up the middle past Jackson. Just doesn't seem that way, does it?
No, you know, there's times where, you know, you have to score almost 6 runs for them to win, but starting pitching has been erratic. Obviously, the way Jackson's pitching tonight, you would think that he could win with a lot less runs support. Chipper Jones hit the ball hard twice and nothing to show for it.
The Atlanta Braves 24 points lower than the Cardinals as a team offensively.
And they have a better record, and we're chasing them.
And the pitching has something to do with that. Atlanta third in the National League, 3.39 ERA as a team. And again, they're relying on the youngsters for a lot of that.
Sure. Chipper playing in his 2,370th game, all with the Atlanta Braves. That's second most by an active player. Derek Jeter leads with over 2,400. Albert's on that list with nearly 1,700 games. This is with players who played the same organization. First time I saw Chipper was at the Sally League All-Star game. I spoke there, and he was a young shortstop.
I was coaching in that league, Al. I was not invited to that dinner.
It was a luncheon.
Or luncheon.
Were you? Those career games with one team, active players. See. And then Albert would be the sixth on that list.
We only had room for 5, though, Al.
How could we skip Albert? You could tell back then he was going to be a pretty good player, couldn't you?
Ground ball to the right side. Schumacher to second for 1, on to first. Close play, but they turn it. Nicely done. Schumacher for Call and Albert.
I knew he was going to be a big leaguer because he already had a presidential Rolex.
I didn't notice that, but I watched our guys have to pitch to him. I was with the Cleveland Indians in that league. Manny Ramirez was our star player. We were pretty sure he might make it. But the other player in that league that was head and shoulders above everybody else was Chipper Jones. Nice play by the Cardinal middle infield.
Second double play they've turned tonight. Rays have hit into 103. And the Cardinals by far lead the major leagues with 152 double plays.
Jackson doing what pitchers do, making pitches when he needs them.
And Edwin Jackson's trying to tell the world that I'm a baseball player, not just a pitcher. I can get my uniform dirty.
Still scratching my head over that stolen base attempt. We think it might have been a missed sign.
I think it was a missed hit and run. Call walked and he kind of swung his bat like he was mad at something, and maybe he was the batter. Made me an indication that he might have missed the sign and got his pitcher thrown out.
Full count to the all-star catcher Brian McCann.
Six straight all-star appearances. He's the only player in franchise history to make the all-star team in each of his first 6 full seasons. 4 Silver Slugger awards.
Walk number 2 on the evening for Edwin Jackson brings in Dan Uggla. And you never like walking a batter in front of a power hitter. You really don't like walking a batter ever. But the more dangerous when you've got somebody that can make it hurt even more. And Dan Uggla certainly can do that. 33 home runs, trails Albert by just 1 for the National League lead.
Ricky really a cleanup hitter for the Braves, but really does, with a 235 average, does tell you that you make your good pitches, you get him out. But if you make a mistake, he can burn you. 96 up and in. Douglas' first season with the Braves after playing for Florida Marlins.
Hard ground ball, not handled by Furcal. Makes a recovery and throws out the lead runner, McCann. Jackson is through 5. He'll lead it off when we come back. September 9th, 1952. Stan Musial, the greatest Cardinal of them all, collects his 2,000th career hit, and he does it in a 7-4 win in Philadelphia. Cardinals headed to Philadelphia and Pittsburgh next week. One more road trip to Houston, and the Cardinals, Al, have a huge climb, 7.5 games behind Atlanta, but it's just kind of like eating an elephant. You just have to do it one bite at a time. Time to take a bite tonight.
Trying to visualize that.
You're working on that.
Yeah, it's just, it would take a few more bites, right? But
a lot of bites left.
Simplicity.
Win the game
one
at
a time.
Win the game in front.
It's the only one you can control.
Ground ball up the middle. Jack Wilson, very good defensive shortstop, throws out Jackson.
Yeah, we're talking about 2,000 hits. You know, earlier this year, Albert got his 2,000 hit. Cardinals have 5 players that have collected 2,000 hits with the team. Braves have 3. Hank Aaron, Chipper Jones, Eddie Matthews. We just showed you Stan, Lou Brock, Rogers Hornsby, Enos Slaughter, and Albert Pujols. Those are 8 pretty good ball players.
Both of these organizations, a lot to be proud of. Strike one to Furcal. He's been on base both times via the walk. Stole a base in the 3rd. His first stolen base as a Cardinal. Really thought we'd see him run a little bit more. And you still wonder if he's 100% healthy.
He missed 63 games with a fractured left thumb and oblique muscle strain, so no real indication that his legs are a problem.
believe our home plate umpire, Mike Everett, is having a very nice night. Haven't seen him miss very many pitches, according to our Fox tracks. And not many arguments from the players. Tough play for Freeman. Nice quick toss to the pitcher covering. He made that look easy, and it was not.
He's a good-looking hitter, but you know he can field his position very well. Another aspect of his game is it's all around. High hopper is a good thing. He's a big man, like 6'4", 6'5", something like that range. They went back, and Hyundai will show you this replay. Pitcher, they're covering through a strike and his receiver.
And for young players, particularly high school age, sometimes you wait a little bit, try to time that pitcher coming to the bag, but get rid of the ball as soon as possible. That's exactly what Freeman did. Get rid of the ball to the pitcher, then let him find that bag afterwards if you have the opportunity and the time. Correct.
You know, and of course, a pitcher's approach to first base will depend on the running speed of the batter. If you got a lot of time, you can kind of run 3/4 of the way and just run up the baseline. But if you got somebody that really can run hard, you got to go almost sprint right towards the bag. But that's another reason why if you get the throw from the first baseman as soon as possible, he can catch it, and then he can look down and find the bag.
Right.
It's pretty hard to do it. Look down and also look the ball in the glove at the same time.
One, 2, 3 inning for St. Louis. See every Cardinals game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Blackout restrictions apply. Visit Cardinals.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. It's baseball everywhere. 2-1 Atlanta. 2-6-0 for the Braves. 1-3-1 for the Cardinals. Top of the 6th inning in our wild card standings one more time, Al.
Well, you really can't afford to lose this game or any games in the standings. Freeman retired the first time, but you know it's 7 out on the loss side, and that's the important side. You win this ball game, you win 3, close that gap a little bit. Hopefully, you know, the Phillies put a whooping on Milwaukee, lose that series, and it just makes it a lot more fun to come to the ballpark, still thinking you got a chance.
And that certainly can happen. I mean, the Philadelphia Phillies are as good a team as we've seen in a number of years. Their pitching, Al, is
of course we're forgetting we have to see them also.
Oh yeah. Well, at least for the next 3 days we can have some hope.
then you're hoping that they have clinched it, and then they kind of rested 2 or 3 of those starters, and maybe you can kind of sneak a few wins. But Cardinals are in a position they just have to win, and really can ill afford to lose much more than a couple games.
Top of the 7th now in Milwaukee. Phillies still lead 3-0. Mets and Cubs tied in the 9th. Astros and Nationals tied in the bottom of the 10th. And the Pirates down by 10. Base hit to right for Prado. That's his first hit. And the 7th for Atlanta.
Team Prado, pretty good hitter. Hit 307 last year. His numbers down a little bit this year.
Jackson's pitched out of some jams here tonight. He's kept the game close.
2 double plays behind him already.
Fox tracks this half inning, brought to you by Chevy. The velocity of Edwin Jackson really hasn't changed very much from pitch 1. Still throwing hard.
89 pitches. 95. We've seen as high as 96. Been with 5 different organizations. Starting with the Dodgers, traded to the Cardinals from the White Sox. Only 27. Hard to give up on him, but maybe the inconsistency has gotten some of the other teams frustrated.
Ground ball to the right side. Schumacher has it to Furcal on to first, and a little bit trouble in the transition as the throw was a bit wide. Furcal fortunate just to get one. Schumacher knew he was going to have to rush it to double up Hayward, and maybe rushed it a bit too much.
I think here he took that high hop, and that kind of got him back on his heels and produces the high and a little bit wide throw. Furcal's able to get the force out at second, but Hayward runs well enough that he could beat it out at first.
So Hayward now the runner at first. 6 for 8 in stolen bases. Will he test Yadier Molina?
Here's a real test, is to retire the 8th place hitter, as they will pinch hit for the pitcher's spot. Brooks Conrad swinging a bat there, and they got a pitcher warming up, Moylan.
Conrad had a game-winning hit against the Cardinals the first 2 times these teams met in 2011.
That was the only win in Atlanta. Cardinals took 2 out of 3. Kind of very unlikely. I mean, Conrad's been, pinch hitter, so he's going to get a couple hits here and there. But the game-winning hits from the Cardinals standpoint were triple by Punto, and Laird got a base hit up the middle. And unlikely from the Cardinals side.
Unlikely stars in that series all the way around. It was in late April. The 2-0 pitch. Ball 3, high and in to Jack Wilson.
Retired him the first 2 times up. Strikeout and pop up, kind of dominated against him. Go right after him. Now that you've fallen behind 3-0, don't aim the ball either. Just give her your good hard stuff. Throw the ball with conviction.
There goes the runner, and it's a strike, but Molina does not throw it. I think Molina thought it was ball 4 and didn't get the call, and Yadi seems a little perhaps bothered by that. I think he thought that was ball 4, and that's why he didn't throw it.
Probably most of the time a catcher will go ahead and execute that throw even if it is called a ball 4. But there you see he gets in a position. Schumacher was at the bag. You know, even Todd, even if a middle infielder is late in covering, just throw it over the bag. You know, execute your throw. It's their responsibility to be there.
Jackson back in the count now, 3-2. Outfielders are shallow. Curveball is hit on the ground, foul. Check swing. Cardinals almost got a break there on a pitch that up in the zone. Maybe one of those sliders that didn't break very much.
Sometimes a backup slider, or sometimes a slider is so bad that it becomes a good pitch. He has battled back from 3-0, now put him away. Big gap out in left center for Jack Wilson. Don't think of him having much power.
Big pitch here, 3-2, swing and a miss. Jackson strikes out Wilson to end the threat here in the 6th inning. Jackson has come up with the pitches when he's needed them. Here's another one, a 3-2 pitch, and he blows it by Wilson. Pujols, Holiday, and Berkman next. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And for a limited time, Jack's Really Big Chicken Sandwich Combo is back for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. Into a pleasant evening here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals trail by a run. Game time temperatures are right at 64 degrees. Cardinal fans hoping for a rally. Maybe they'll do it against the Braves reliever. Our Mid-America Chevy dealers call to the bullpen is Peter Moylan.
Moylan had back surgery. He's covered from that, so we could expect Jay Randolph to be pitching out of the bullpen pretty soon for the Cardinals, right?
And I bet he'd do a great job indeed, indeed.
I think he'd talk his way through it, wouldn't he?
He's the best. Albert Pujols to face Moylan. The 1-0 pitch is laced foul. You mentioned Jay Randolph. We will have a feature on our telecast tomorrow. feature on Rogers Hornsby that Jay has put together for us, and we look forward to that. Book is closed on Delgado, the starter. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 93 pitches.
Jay was doing the games when I was playing. Back then, we'd have about a 20-game schedule, and that would be it on television, usually all on the road.
Tough play for Wilson. He can't get it.
Another multi-hit game for Albert.
That average keeps creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. 2 for 3 night for Albert. Just bounces that one right over the head of Moylan.
Hyundai shows Jack Wilson reaching for it, maintain his balance, and Albert now hitting .297. But the big thing is he's got to get those 15 RBIs. I don't think there's any doubt he'll get to 300. For his 11th consecutive year, he's already got 30 or more home runs, 11 consecutive years. Trying to get the RBIs. I don't like that play. The cleanup hitter, but maybe it was just good that he fouled it off, trying to butt one down the line and expose Chipper Jones, but I'd rather have Matt just swing away.
Sign me up for that.
His average right at 300, 22 home runs, 73 RBIs. Moylan can be really tough on right-handed batters, excuse me. He's from Australia, and he throws down under.
How convenient. Ground ball to short. Six, 4, 3. And another double play, and maybe the bunt wasn't that bad an idea, Al.
Still was a bad idea.
I agree with you. I'm teasing. You want Matt Holliday to swing the bat. Seen some strange things today. We've seen Edwin Jackson try to steal a base. We've seen Matt Holliday bunt. If you woke up this morning and somebody told you were going to see those two things, Al, what would you say?
I would believe it. You know, you also, Moylan not really quick to the plate. So Cardinals, who now hit into 153 double plays. Albert Pujols, you know, he's got 7 for 8 in steals. A guy like this takes a while for that ball to get there. He's slow in his delivery. Could have started the runner there.
If we really talked about this before, Al, but you think about all the double plays that Albert and Holliday has hit into. And, you know, it's bad enough to do that, but you think about those happening in the middle of the order for the Cardinals. Now you've got Lance Berkman, another danger guy, batting with nobody on base. So the double plays in front of a guy like Berkman just absolutely kill you offensively.
Albert and Holliday have combined for 47 double plays.
And that's your order. That's where you expect to do damage, expect to score runs. And again, Berkman batting, and he's going to have to hit a long one to tie this game up by himself.
Yachty has got another 19. There you are.
Sweet swing of Lance Berkman. Base hit the other way. 2-out hit brings in David Freed.
First hit, but second time on base. He always has that high on base percentage because it takes a lot of walks.
Monday night on Fox Sports Midwest will debut 41-92, the crowning of the hit king. 41-92 traces Pete Rose's rise as one of baseball's greatest and most controversial stars, from his first at bat to the immortal September evening where history was made. 41-92, the crowning of the hit king. Monday night after Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Ground ball up the middle. Tough play for Ugla, and Again, a little better defensively than most might think. On to the 7th. Throughout the 2011 season, if you're looking for ways to save some cash or find great value at the ballpark, be sure to check out the Fan Value Corner at Cardinals.com/values. Edwin Jackson back out for the 7th, but not for long. Here comes the left-hander Zepchinski. We'll step aside for just a minute. Called to the bullpen, the left-hander replaces Edwin Jackson. Had a fine night, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. The numbers of Zepchinski since being a Cardinal are very good, and he'll try to keep this game close. And I'm a little bit surprised that Tony La Russa has not gone to a double switch here with all the left-handers in this lineup. You'd think that Zepchinski would be able to go a couple of innings, and he is slated to bat 3rd in the bottom of this inning.
Totally agree with you that expanded rosters. I guess Tony feels he's got enough arms. Does have Arthur Rhodes, and Costanza was announced as the pinch hitter for Moylan, and that's what prompted the pitching change. see the average, but he did a lot of that when Hayward was out with a shoulder injury. The kid's got great speed, but he's gone just 4 for 24 since his ankle injury. He sprained his right ankle on August 22nd. Great base stealer in the minor leagues.
And there was a time where they thought that he would get a lot more playing time when Hayward was struggling. Wild swing there, and he strikes out Costanza.
Ricky, you're kind of looked as now as a switch hitter, but he's one of those switch hitters that has not hit from the right side all year. I'd say he's a left-handed hitter.
I'd say he's given up switch hitting.
Correct. And he doesn't look very good against a left-handed pitcher either. Watching those swings.
Expect a little bit better at bat here from Michael Bourne, who's 3 for 3, and he does hit left-handers pretty well. And that nice short swing. You wouldn't expect him to really bail out, Al. And really, it's those guys that have the big swing, try to pull everything, that just have trouble against left-handers. Bourne not afraid to slap it the other way.
Well, Bourne playing every day, he's had to face a lot of left-handers, and that's part of what makes you successful. Pitcher, it's important for that front shoulder to hold that in to throw strikes, and for a hitter, especially when you're lefty facing a lefty, it's important that front shoulder doesn't fly open either. That's really all he wants to do is slap the ball and run. I'm with you. A little surprising that no double switch. Keep Sepchinski in this ball game. Maybe one of the things too, though, is if you really have paid attention, it looks like they've lost a little confidence in Arthur Rhodes. So maybe thinking that we want him for the entire series, not to blow him out in just one game.
Back-to-back strikeouts. Brings in Chipper Jones, who now bats from the right side.
Almost read Tony's mind, saying this is another one of these frustrated games because you got good starting pitching, and yet the offense has let the club down.
Berkman plays it on one hop. First hit of the night for Chipper Jones.
ACL surgery last year on that knee. Those knees have had multiple surgeries, probably on both of them.
Just not sure he's going to be able to get to 3,000. Although he's having a pretty nice season.
Chipper and Albert, something else they have in common. They're the only two active players to hit at least 400 career home runs and still have more walks than strikeouts. In an era of, middle infielders striking out nearly 200 times. That's still an amazing stat.
Chipper used to steal 20 to 25 bases as well. He did that early in his career. Actually stole 40 one year in the minor league. So before all those knee problems you mentioned, Al, he had speed to go along with it. 9 straight years of 100 RBIs or more.
Now, he had the season-ending ACL surgery performed last year, and he had just a arthroscopic surgery repair meniscus tear this year.
Good breaking ball. Strike on the corner, 2-2. McCann's at bat, Al, in the first inning, really the key at bat in this game, and it happened early. He had a double with 1 out to score the first run, and then scored the Braves' second run on a double by Freddie Freeman. So he is a key player in this game so far. The 2-2 is a bit low, and now Jones will be running on the pitch.
Albert going to play behind in a better defensive position. Second base umpire, he was on the first base side. Now with this, he moves to the third base side. Nice easy hop.
Had a little more range, playing behind. No problems with that ground ball off the bat of McCann. Time to stretch. 2-1 Atlanta. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. By Bank of America, where ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope with Bank of America. Member FDIC. And by AT&T.
New pitcher for the Braves, Arodys Vizcaíno. He's only 20 years of age. He was acquired along with Melky Cabrera, Mike Dunn from the Yankees in exchange for Javier Vasquez and Boone Logan. He made his start of the season the 7th best prospect in the Braves organization.
Swinging at the first pitch is Skip Schumacher. Bottom of the order for the Cardinals here in the 7th. Tremendous youth on this Braves team. Not only are they young players, Al, but they're young, good players who are contributing. Everybody talks about going younger, and you can go younger if you want. Any team can do that, but the question is, are you talented enough to compete at this level?
Well,
Freddie Freeman sure is.
Nice thing is they've got a very solid coaching staff along with Freddie Gonzalez, their manager. You know, you got Chipper Jones, Brian McCann, even though he's in his 6th season, you know, he's like a seasoned veteran. They can bring along the Freemans and the Haywards. Used to be at one time, the manager would hire a pitching staff to, you know, who's his drinking buddies. But now you better hire a working staff.
Tough play made by the left fielder. A lot of these Braves players certainly aren't the drinking buddies because they're not even allowed to drink yet. A lot of young players on this team. Brandon Beachy, one of the starters, he's 25. He's an old guy. Kimbrell at 23. Freeman and Hayward, early 20s. And these guys are really key players on this team. They're not just guys on the end of the bench. They're making a difference day in and day out.
Everyday players and starting rotation, closer. You know, we've had two pitchers for the Braves in this game, one 21 and the other one 20.
Two and 0 to Yadi Molina. Molina is now 1 for his last 14.
Another game where the Cardinals down by 1 run, but it seems like it's much more.
Agreed. Well, and part of that problem is going to be that the end of this bullpen is very good. We've mentioned it. You're at the part of the pen that maybe you can do some damage with. Not able to score against Moylan in the 6th. Now facing Arodes, Vizcaíno in the 7th. Garcia and Derek Lowe will go in game 2. That'll be tomorrow night. And Jake Westbrook and Tim Hudson will pitch in the finale here on September 11th.
Kyle McClellan warming up for the Cardinals. Appears he'll be coming in for the Redbirds. Top of the 8th.
Like to extend a get well wish to Mark Winter, big Cardinal fan who's watching our telecast tonight. We just hope that you get well soon. Get back out rooting for the Redbirds. The 2-2. Can't wait much longer, Al, to get something going.
It's getting late, and as you said, getting into an area where they're very good. There you go. Little start.
That helps.
Patterson will now pitch hit. Yachty hits one through the left side of the infield. Patterson will pinch hit.
Tyler Green, the pinch runner.
Tyler Green, even though he's spent the majority of the time at AAA, still leads the team in steals. What does that tell you?
Tells me we don't run very much.
So, Cardinals only have 44 steals on the year. Tyler has 9. They've been caught 33 times. See the numbers with Corey Patterson.
Patterson actually has 13 stolen bases on the season. They were all in the American League, though. No stolen bases as a Cardinal. Batting just 178 as a Redbird. And he had his first pinch hit as a Cardinal. In the last week, he's now 1 for 13 as a pinch hitter. Big hole on the right side. How aggressive will Tony be with Tyler Green?
I think you have to go. I think he's looking over like, can I go? Cardinals have hit in so many double plays. I know there was a period Tony said if I send the runner, the batter will line into a double play, and if I don't send him, it's a ground ball double play. But we haven't seen that many line into double plays. We've seen a whole ton of grounding into double plays.
Sure have.
You have speed in the batter's box and speed on the base paths.
Not going. Fouled back 1-1 to Patterson.
Chambers is another guy that led off from Memphis that's been called up and had 22 steals at the minor league level. Seems like he has maybe that attitude that he wants to be a base stealer.
Decent lead.
Now, if it's Lou Brock out there at first base, he'll say he's thrown over twice. I've got him. I know how to take my lead now. I know what his little checkpoint is and how I can exploit him. Kobe Rasmus still on the list for top Cardinal Steelers. Traded at the deadline.
Not going. Ball 2.
Dave McKay checking his times to the plate and then relaying those to Tyler Green at first base. Carries a stopwatch with him, and a lot of times the Cardinals really feel if the guy is slow to the plate, he really has to be within that parameter so they can say, okay, you can get a good jump and you should be able to make it.
One and 2 now. The count to Corey Patterson. Trying to hang in there. For call bats next. 2-1 Atlanta. I believe he's going to go right now. 2-2 now. The count to Patterson.
Looking at Dave McKay for clarification. Game is slowed down a lot of times because of this aspect of the game, you know, the running game. And managers try and take control of that.
There he goes. And it's a line drive to left center field. In comes Bourne, and the left fielder, Prado, to make the play, and Tyler Green scampers back to first base. Thought that ball might have a chance to drop. Green running on the pitch.
Bourne a little slow to get up. Doesn't repair his divots.
Just really happy he didn't collide with Prado.
Yeah, last second he tried to pull up a little bit. And I don't know if his cleats caught a little bit in the grass. But could have been a lot worse, right?
Absolutely. Dillon International Golf Classic will be Tuesday, September 27th at Whitmore Country Club in St. Charles County. More information, go to stlouismainevents.com. stlouismainevents.com. It is the Dillon International Golf Classic, helping with adoption in the St. Louis area. For call. 7 homers, 24 RBIs on the season.
Prado playing very deep in left field. That chipper coming in hard against a bunt. See him just do what he did earlier this week. Just lifted a couple little fly balls right over third base area.
The ball may have hit Green in the back. Like it might be a close play at first too. Big lean by Tyler Green. I'm okay with him trying to steal here too.
Me too. 2 outs, just generate some kind of movement. First and third on a base hit. Furcal's had 6 home runs, limited time with the Cardinals. 5 of those have been against Milwaukee, and we're playing Atlanta.
Take this pitch, let him go. Not going.
Seems like Atlanta's young players are going out there free and easy, not afraid to make mistakes, and sometimes young Cardinal players come up here and play very tight and almost saying, what if I get thrown out? You know, what's going to the reaction be? You can't play that way.
People will always say, what if? It's part of the deal at this level. There's a ground ball to the right side, and it is through in the right field. Green's now headed to third, and now Furcall's headed to second, and he is out at second base. Furcall trying to take the extra base, runs into an out. Base running mistake for the Cardinals here in the bottom of the seventh. Close play goes the Braves' way. Majority of the St. Louis Cardinals, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. 2-1 Braves. Top of the eighth inning. Cardinals run into an out at the bottom of the seventh inning. Gerald Laird takes over behind the plate for Yadier Molina, and our new pitcher is St. Louis and Kyle McClellan.
Kyle started his season 17 starts and then moved him back to the bullpen where he did such great work for the first 3 years in the big leagues. St. Louis native. Kind of the extra benefit of that was when acquired Edwin Jackson, it moved him back to the bullpen, but his pitch count or his innings pitched would have been awfully high. Already exceeded his career.
Line out to center, handled by John Jay, out number one. And we need to go back to that last play in the bottom of the seventh inning, Al, as the Cardinals had a base hit with one out for call. We had just been talking about how we wanted the Cardinals to create some movement, and we got what we wanted, and they ran into an out at second base.
Well, that's another aspect. You know, defense hadn't been very tight, a lot of base running mistakes. There you see a little teaching going on. I wonder if Tony's just saying, hey, why didn't you steal early? Lou Brock was just up here in the booth with us, and Lou would tell you, you know, you have to have an arrogance to be a good base stealer. You can't be afraid to make a mistake and worry about being thrown out.
You can't assume everything to be equal if you do the what if game, but let's do it. If Tyler Green steals on that first pitch in that at bat, he's successful to Furcall, Cardinals have tied this game.
Right. I mean, there's
a lot of what ifs to
what
that.
Ifs,
and the pitch might have been different, and I get that, but you really, the importance of a stolen base early in the count gives the hitter a chance to do his job to drive him in.
And there really wasn't anything wrong he did, but it's just in a game like this, I think we wish he put him in there to pinch run. Well, go out and show that you're the leader of the team in stolen bases. Get yourself in scoring position. And then, like you said, if Raquel got that single, you come home and you score. At this level, you can't be afraid to make a mistake.
Strikeout of Freddie Freeman. Now 2 for 4. Brings in Martin Prado. It'd be nice to have Kyle McClellan have a nice, clean 1-2-3 inning. Kyle's been touched up a couple of times in the last few weeks. When he gets on a roll, he can put together a number of good outings back to back. We've seen that before out of the Cardinal bullpen, where he just gets kind of locked in. Not there right now, but we've certainly seen him do it in his career, where he's been reliable over a long period of time.
Scored 13 tonight, so is Texas. 13-run pool.
One hopper to Furcal. There's that 1-2-3 inning. We'll get to see Albert if you stay right here. Out of late, 0 for 3. Albert Pujols does have a couple of hits. Michael Bourne been an offensive star for Atlanta. He is 3 for 4 and has scored a run. Dan Uggla hitless in 4 at-bats for Atlanta.
Michael Bourne is a difference maker. They went out and got him at the trade deadline. He's that element of speed and great defense. Johnny Benner's one of those young pitchers we talk about. He's 26, but you see that 1.58 ERA. Look at the strikeouts, 90 and less than 80 innings, 45 hits, but he has been roughed up. He's allowed 5 earned runs, 7 hits, while issuing 6 walks over his last 6 innings. That raised his ERA from 1.10 to his current 1.58. First 70 appearances, he had that 1.110 ERA. Leads the major leagues for his 77th appearance. 30 holds already.
And he faces Alan Craig pinch hitting for John Jay. Craig is 5 for 16 as a pinch hitter this year,
including one pinch hit home run off of Tim Lincecum.
Watch out. Line drive right back up the box, right past Venters into center field. And the Cardinals have their leadoff runner aboard.
Now we got Chambers, but watch this.
Duck. Thank you. Our Nissan drive of the game, delivered by Alan Craig.
Here's Chambers, who was leadoff hitter at Memphis and also had 22 steals at Memphis. Very raw talent. Like really a very nice young man. Jim Hayes did a nice interview with him.
Sure did.
Very humble, very appreciative of the opportunity. Was a football player. And then went back to his favorite sport of baseball. Took a 24-hour bus ride to go to a tryout camp at Memphis. And the funny thing, he even told a story where he said, when I got to Memphis, I saw that ballpark. I thought I was in St. Louis.
Great story. Ground ball back to Venters. The second low throw, and Chambers takes out Ugla, but somehow he manages to get rid of the ball onto first base, and those two have a little conversation, I think in a good way, but Chambers does his job.
Well, Ugla will remember who it was, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's a low throw that hangs up Ugla, but look at the athleticism to get rid of that ball. So he's a low throw, and then he gets all of his body behind it, and Chambers just tries to do what he has to do. That's disrupt the return throw to keep everything from him turning into a double play. Great athleticism by Ugla and a good hustle by Chambers, and he'll win some points that way. And right on the kneecap.
And there's the response to going in hard at Dan Ugla. And you know, just not sure I like that response, because really that play was a problematic play at second base because Ugla couldn't get rid of the ball.
Well, it was a bad throw.
It was a bad throw, and he kind of held on to it, but clearly that was a response, a direct response from the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, it bounced.
Or was it?
Yeah. I thought it hit him. We thought it hit him straight on. We can't see a height, so I think it was just a wild pitch. It was just a bad breaking ball that he threw.
Or a really well disguised response.
Well, you know, if why disguise it? You want to make the other team know you're trying to retaliate. Correct?
Yeah, I would think so. Well, I believe that is correct. I believe that was just a mistake.
And to be honest, it was Venters who made the mistake, because he's the one that threw it to his second baseman and got him taken out.
He should be apologizing to Ugla.
He should.
But again, the double play in the middle of the lineup hurts the Cardinals.
2 more today, 154 in the season.
Again, to push that point, Al, if Skip Schumacher's hitting into a double play, or Yadier Molina in the 7th and 8th spot, you say, okay, well, that's not fortunate, but so what? But you hit into a double play in front of Matt Holliday or in front of Lance Berkman, that really hurts your offense if you're built on their power and their ability to drive and run.
No doubt about it. Cardinals, they continue this pace, they'll set a new National League record for hitting into double plays and erase the record set by the 58 Cardinals.
Check swing.
Venters was an all-star this year.
2-2 to Berkman.
3-2 now, so Holiday will get a running lead. Just make sure he delivers to the plate.
There's a line drive up the middle, base hit. Holiday round second. He's headed for third. Bourne's going to get the ball into second. And the Cardinals are not done here in the 8th inning. And again, that double play just looms large here in the 8th inning. The Cardinals have had 3 of their 4 base runners reach base.
Breaking ball. Gets it out and sends it back up the middle. Venters, maybe running out of gas a little bit. Mentioned his first 70 appearances. He had a 1.10 ERA. Not that it's bad at 1.58 coming in.
I'll say.
No, he has allowed 5 earned runs in his last 6 innings prior to tonight. A lot of walks. Quite a few hits for what he has done. That gives you an idea what happened once he turned after his 70th appearance. September, running on fumes. Jason Mott in the Cardinal bullpen. Linebrink in the Atlanta Braves bullpen. I know Dotel and Mott are both throwing.
David Freese had a big hit in game 2 against Atlanta early this season, a Cardinal victory. And it was a base hit through the right side. He was trying to do that again. And it was against Johnny Venters.
2 for 2 off of this outstanding left-hander. Holding the runner on. There is that big gap in the right side, and that's where his power is, to the right side.
To Freeze. In the dirt, blocked by McCann. That could have been trouble for Atlanta.
Just like the pitch that hit Holiday, that ball bounced way out in front of the plate. Tough for a catcher, but McCann blocked it.
One of those cases, Al, if your left-hander is good enough, you let him pitch to right-handers.
Absolutely. Venters is.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out David Freese to end the 8th inning. Another Cardinal rally falls short. On to the 9th. Cardinals trail by 1.
Harris and Mike Matheny are at Lumiere Place. A quiet night for the Cardinal offense. Cardinal shortstop since David Eckstein. They'll unravel the list. That and more coming up after the game. Octavio Dotel on to pitch for the Cards. We go back to the booth and Rick and Al, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Great job again today. Look forward to the post game coming up immediately following our telecast. Octavio Dotel, his numbers since the trade, 16 games, Al, with St. Louis. Pretty good numbers.
The Cardinals have found that if they give him ample rest, he can do the job for you. He's held right-handed batters to a 152 average. Tell is around 37 now. Cardinals have covered him for a few years, but Diamond part of the deals made at the trading deadline. Had Dotel and Mott warming up. Mott was going to come in if the Cardinals took the lead.
Cardinals have had their base runners in the last 3 innings against all 3 Braves relievers. Each reliever gave up 2 hits in their inning, but did not give up any runs. The Cardinals not able to come up with a big hit. A couple of double plays in that. Cardinals 6 hits in the last 3 innings without a run, Al, trailing by 1.
It's tough, isn't it?
Dotel's job, keep the score the same.
Kimbrel warming up there. Atlanta's closer with 43 saves. Lead the National League.
Three and 1 to Hayward. Hayward's 0 for 2 with a stolen base.
He's got those long arms, but it kind of appears that he's well off the plate.
Remember him when he first came up as having a nice short swing. I'm not sure it's that short anymore. A little longer.
Yes.
Tops over that ball and rounds out 3-1.
A shoulder injury during the course of the season that might have lengthened it a bit. Hinsky is on deck behind Jack Wilson.
Wilson, the veteran, was on the team with Brendan Ryan out in Seattle to start the season.
I was thinking about that. You know, he's playing his 11th major league season, 3rd organization. 8 years with Pittsburgh. Parts of 09 and 11 with Seattle. Just was traded August 31st from Seattle with cash consideration in exchange for a player to be named later, but I'll make my way down and talk to him about our buddy Brendan Ryan.
Two guys that can pick it. Tough play. It's a fair ball. Albert might not have known that and kind of reacts as everybody just keeps going, and he flips the ball to the pitcher, Dotel, covering.
I don't think he did,
number 2.
but he did look in the corner of his eye and saw the umpire signaling fair ball, and quickly he got it to his pitcher covering. Albert, see him turn around and look right there, and then gave him the signal that, hey, that's a live ball, and I got to get it to my pitcher. You can see why he was a little bit indecision right there.
Right.
And now Hinsky, the veteran, will pinch hit.
Very good pinch hitter.
It's a career pinch hitter of 247, 48, 194 with 7 home runs, 32 RBIs. His 10 home runs are 3rd most among National League batters with 228 at bats, 225 bats or less.
Add another pinch hit to his career numbers.
49. Chambers, who stayed in the game out there in center, cuts it off.
Inski, the American League Rookie of the Year with Toronto in 2002, and he can tell Freddie Freeman and Craig Kimbrell what that's all about.
And the pinch run with Richardson.
Antoine Richardson, we are told, may be one of the fastest guys in the game. Inski did his job. Now the top of the order again, and Bourne, who has 3 hits already.
Arthur Rhodes warming up for the Cardinals. Kind of look at Laird going out there. Stalling tactic. Is that to get Rhodes here?
We also might like Rhodes' ability to hold the runner at first a little bit, too. Nice night for Michael Bourne. First inning. Leads the game off with a base hit, infield hit. Schumacher rushing the throw, not able to get him. He later scored. And he took one the other way in the 3rd inning and again in the 5th. So 3 hits on the night. And the stall is on. And there goes the runner. Here's the throw from Molina, and it's not in time. It gets past for call. But Gerald Laird, excuse me, the catcher, who took over for Yadier Molina.
Richardson with a steal.
And again, Alley takes no time, doesn't let it get deep in the count, just gets it done.
Right. It just kind of, that's the way you do it.
Now the batter's got a chance early in the count to find his pitch and drive him in. That's baseball.
Right. I asked Lou, I said, you would have stole there when Tyler Green was on it. He goes, yes, I would have. And now I see it for Kyle is Barry Weinberg. It spiked. Jammed that wrist. I believe it was his left thumb that he fractured. Looking at the left hand, trying to see if he had a grip.
Well, both Greg Houck and Barry Weinberg, that's really their job, and they have the eagle eye on all the players throughout the game. And we don't talk about the trainers enough, but one of the things they're doing is they're watching for things that everybody else isn't watching for. A player maybe grabbing at a hamstring, or, you know, in this case, a thumb, and players tend to hide some of the things that happen to them and not want to complain about it. And the trainer's job is to make sure it's not a real problem.
I don't know if you read the article, but Tony's going to come out and bring in Arthur Rhodes, so the stall tactics work. But Gene Monahan, I think 49 years with the Yankees, and now is retiring as their trainer.
A lot of baseball games.
So the veteran Arthur Rhodes will come in here, and the veteran Gotel is through.
the veteran Arthur Rhodes relieves Octavio Dotel with a Brave at second base. That's Antoine Richardson. And Rhodes, look at his numbers both before the trade and after. Hasn't quite gotten untracked yet.
No, the only thing people are going to remember is what does he do right now. 2 for 7 against Rhodes. Bourne has the 1-1 count. He's already had 3 hits, 3 for 4 tonight.
Late swing, he fouls it off. And the other thing about bringing Rhodes in this situation, you also have Jones and McCann to follow. You'd like to see Chipper Jones bat right-handed, and then Brian McCann from the left side as well. So the move makes sense.
Tony La Russa is banking that Arthur can get the final out of this inning, and he could be the winning pitcher in the Cardinals rally in the bottom of the ninth.
There's a line drive in the right center field gap, and it is down and going to the warning track. Chambers runs it down, but Bourne is headed to third. A 9th inning stand-up triple for Michael Bourne, and it's 3-1 Atlanta.
His 46th RBI for a leadoff man. And Arthur Rhodes just hasn't had the command as that ball's up and on the inner third of the plate, and 51 steals, but he can fly, can he? I want this ball down and away, and look at the glove. Laird going up towards the hitter. Just an error in location. Nice stop by Laird there, saving another run. On charge to Dotel. Arthur Rhodes making his 893rd career appearance.
You mentioned that Sally League All-Star luncheon that you spoke at, where Chipper Jones was on the All-Star team. The best pitcher in that league that year was Arthur Rhodes.
Talking about close to 20 years ago. Not
long time ago. Ground ball to short. Braves score in the 9th. Cardinals need 2 to tie. A 4-hit night for Bourne, including his 9th inning triple. That has given the Braves a 3-1 lead. Big acquisition for the Braves right before the trading deadline, coming from Houston. And here's a pretty good acquisition too. In his rookie season in the big leagues, Craig Kimbrell has become the National League's top closer.
He leads the majors with his 43 saves. See how effective he's been lately. Big strikeout pitcher. He struck out 42% of all batters faced this year and leads all major league relievers in strikeouts. He's already set a major league record for saves by a rookie. Rookie of the month in August, June.
There's a line drive, base hit, first pitch. Off the bat of Skip Schumacher. How about that? Good way to start the bottom of the ninth.
Well, you know Skip Schumacher's never going to concede or give up and pitch up over the middle of the plate. During that stretch, he hadn't only given up like 14 hits. All those appearances, picking 25 for 25 to save opportunities.
3 seasons in the minor leagues. Kimbrel had a 1.85 earned run average combined, Al, 151 innings, 242 strikeouts. Can't miss prospect from Huntsville, Alabama.
Punto got a big hit. That was off of Kimbrel, wasn't it? I believe so. And the earlier meeting down in Atlanta, he hit a triple. Ended up being the game winner.
Check swing. No, says the third base umpire, Corey Blazer.
Listed at 5'11", 205. Might be a stretch at 5'11", huh?
Would agree. Opportunity for Punto here. Another check swing.
Nick's just had almost a wasted year. Sports hernia, and he injured his arm, missed an awful lot of playing time.
Didn't see him much in spring training. We're told, as we see that move to first, Schumacher certainly not going to run here, but Kimbrel has an outstanding move to first and loves to use it. So be careful.
See, very unorthodox how he gets his sign. Entered this season as the Braves' 5th best prospect and having the best fastball. I'd like to know who the other 4 best prospects are.
No kidding. No kidding. Tying run at the plate at Nick Punto. Bottom of the ninth. Ground ball to the right side. They get the lead runner Schumacher, and Wilson hurdles him. So Punto reaches on the fielder's choice. And that brings Gerald Laird, another Cardinal who had a big hit in that previous Atlanta series.
And Gerald Laird had a base hit up the middle. The Cardinals came from behind for a game winner.
Been a solid backup. Not spectacular, but solid.
Provided a little levity on the ball club.
Trade the levity for a gapper right here.
Right, you know, it's hit pretty well the last several games for the Cardinals. 275 and
he is in the hole against one of the toughest closers in the game in Kimbrel, who has a couple of nasty weapons, not just a good fastball, but the overpowering breaking ball.
Yeah. Laird has hit safely in 12 of his last 14 starts at 275 with a home run. Like they thought he was a fastball hitter, so they got him a lot of breaking balls.
That is a tight slider right there.
throws that heat that he does. Hard to look for something other than the heat. You look for the fastball, you can adjust to something off speed. Doesn't mean you can always hit it.
Cardinals' last hope. Rafael Furcal. Furcal is 1 for 2. He's been on base 3 times. Couple of walks, scored the lone Cardinal run. That came way back in the first inning.
So he does beat Milwaukee 5-3, but that doesn't mean a thing. The Cardinals can't win.
Three and 0. You said, Al, that when it was 2-1, it felt like a much bigger lead than that. Now at 3-1, it still feels like a big lead, even bigger. But the Cardinals get a base runner here. They're a gapper away from tying this game.
Terrio would be the next hitter. And we'll find out now. Chambers, won't get to see him bat yet. Seen him pinch run and moves a couple times and play center field.
You can see that you wouldn't want to have that be his first at bat in this type of situation. You think that's what Tony's thinking here?
Probably, but can't think that there would be any great history between Terrio and Kimbrel.
And I'm wondering about Daniel Descalso.
Kimbrel did appear in 21 games last season, and he was 4-0 with a 0.44 ERA. 20 and 2/3 innings, and he had 40 strikeouts. So not a lot of clubs were hitting him last year either.
6 straight pitches out of the strike zone. Now 7.
One of the things, getting his pitch count up, and 3-0 with Albert looming.
In a season that has lacked a lot of big moments, wouldn't it be nice if we've got one in front of us here tonight?
Terry does the right thing, takes, and it's a borderline pitch given to the Braves.
I'm all for him taking it again.
With Albert on deck, absolutely. Take my chance. Take it again.
Against the team you're chasing, you've got Albert Pujols at the plate with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th. This place would go crazy if Albert were to get into one here.
And I wonder if McDowell went out there and said, "You think you're that good? You can bring this much drama to the scene?" Well, his numbers say he is, but if Albert wants to get to 100, he needs to deliver right here. He's been stuck on 85. 12 grand slams, 384 batting average with the bases loaded. Remember a couple of years it was just insane numbers. Those are crazy numbers. He did with the bases loaded a couple of years ago. Right now, at least everyone's on their feet enjoying this one.
Ground ball. It's a base hit. It's fair. Down the right field line. The Cardinals are going to tie this game. Albert is now caught, and there's going to be a play at the plate, and Terrio is tagged out.
Ran through a stop sign.
A base running mistake, but the Cardinals pick up a couple of runs here in the 9th inning, and we are going to extra innings. Innings, the big hit from Albert Pujols. Jose Oquendo, the third base coach. There's the ball hit right down the right field line. Al, a couple of runs score, but Terrio cannot score from first.
Now look at, you see Oquendo waving him in, and I think as soon as he thought better of it, as soon as he crossed his path, and they throw him out by plenty. Oquendo very aggressive. Albert does get a single and 2 RBIs, 3 hits tonight.
Extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side.
I had just assumed that Oquendo had held him up, but he sent him.
The only question is he sending him because Albert would have been out at second base? They had him. The ball was at second. Albert was 5 feet away from second.
Very true, but
either way, base running mistake across the board.
Another one tonight.
And that's 2 that we can remember. But the good news is we're still playing.
Terrio is at second, Schumacher out center, and Mott pitching.
David Freese.
Good job by David to call off the catcher and the pitcher. Mott's got to be a traffic cop in that situation. Make sure nobody has a collision.
The Braves relievers are now 0 for 4 in save opportunities against the Cardinals this year, and that's the first time in over 37 innings that Craig Kimbrell has given up a run.
He had problems with the Cardinals in late May or late April. Those walks come back to haunt him.
He walked for call, then Terrio, a good pitch hit at bat for Terrio. Then Albert with a base hit just inside the bag at first base, down in the right field corner.
Albert's average, by the way, is now at 298, and 2 more RBIs give him 87.
One and one to Ugla. Mott bringing the heat.
Good thing about playing in September, all the extra players, you can go deep into an extra inning game.
Line drive foul. And on that play into the right field corner, you can imagine Pujols, the pull hitter, Hayward had to make a great play down that right field line to get to that ball in a hurry, to get it into the infield, to keep Albert from a double. And the Cardinals from having runners at second and third. Just a crazy play.
They gave him a single on that ball, so.
Take one more look at that play.
I'm not sure. That ball just sliced inside here, and here you see Hayward come over.
He was playing him towards the right field line.
Just guns it towards second base. And they had him trapped, but you want to make sure you don't have that extended rundown with Albert, so you got to come home, and it was an easy tag from McCann.
Popped up. Albert squeezes it. 2 outs in the 10th. And the Cardinals are trying to steal a victory here in game 1. Hopefully they'll come up with that victory in the 10th inning. It'll be Holiday, Berkman, and Freese if Mott can close the door here in the 10th.
Linebrink warming up, so he'll be coming in.
And you've gone through their 2 hot relievers, Venters and Kimbrel. The 1-1.
Lewis Mott's come a long way this season. His progression. Now he's got confidence in throwing that little secondary pitch to go along with his good high octane fastball.
Weak grounder. Mott has it. He'll take it himself. All right, Cardinals. Let's win it, Matt. They are enjoying Cardinal baseball. Rally caps in force. And the Cardinals will try to win it against Scott Linebrink. Bottom of the 10th inning, the Redbirds with 2 in the bottom of the 9th. They have made this an exciting ball game here. Game 1 of this 3-game series. The Cardinals hoping to pull within 6.5 games of these Atlanta Braves, and Matt Holliday can do it with 1 swing of the bat. 2 career home runs against Linebrink, 3 for 9.
These two saw a lot of each other in the National League West. Linebrink with San Diego. Matt with Colorado. Cardinals with the victory could also pull within 7 of Milwaukee. It's like Cincinnati's probably going to win. That's the thing. The Cardinals are closer to Cincinnati than they are to the wild card to the division lead.
Watch out. Holiday's already been hit once.
Any way to get on. It was a breaking ball, but it's kind of hard to hang in there and get hit in the head. Cardinals have had a lot of walks, plus that hit batter tonight. And the reasons why they're in this game.
The 1-1 to Holiday. Swing and a line drive to center field, and it gets down, a base hit. Matt Holliday, leadoff single in the bottom of the 10th inning. Here we go. Now 4 for 10 in his career against Linebrink.
One of his best hits, but falls in front of Michael Bourne. And the Cardinals, you get that leadoff man on.
When you're jammed like that, it helps if you're strong, Al.
And he is strong. Berkman on base 3 times. Last 2 times base hits.
Now Berkman can win it with 1 swing of the bat. He's 2 for 3, couple of base hits. Been on base 3 times. There's a line drive, base hit for Berkman to right field. Holliday has to stay at second. Back-to-back singles for the Cardinals here in the bottom of the 10th. That's 3 hits for Berkman.
Right off the end of the bat, so it's not going to carry, but elevates it over the infield. Holliday sees the ball there. First and second. David Freese on Descalzo. Cardinals are down to, after Descalzo hits here, they've got Shane Robinson and Tony Cruz.
10 players on their bench, and they're down to 2.
You have to believe it's a definite bunting situation to bring up Descalzo. He's also been a little magic man earlier in the season. He was very good at late in games at getting key base hits, but he leads the ball club with his 8 sacrifices.
Bunt him over. Let Skip win it. Runners at first and second. Squares, and he bunts, and it's foul.
Oh, it's foul all the way, but McCann kind of let it bounce, see if it would bounce back into fair territory with Descalzo still in the batter's box. Tony's seen so many double plays. Guess he wants to go for the bunt. Didn't want to leave Freese in there.
There's a bunt, and it's foul. Now what do you do?
Continue to bunt. Kindo looks like he wants to, coming all the way down, trying to get the signal from Tony. May have a word with Descalzo. Tony can't be happy. Send a guy up to bunt, and Descalzo's been a good bunter all season. Most of the time, even with 2 strikes, you have to continue to bunt.
Nothing inordinately nasty about Scott Linebrink that would think he'd be a hard guy to bunt.
Got to get the bat out in fair territory.
0-2. He is bunting again, and he gets the bunt down to third base line, and it's perfect. Jones throws out Descalzo. Nice job, Daniel Descalzo.
He's kind of redeemed himself right there. It's made it a little tougher, and he got it down. Linebrick tried to elevate that ball, trying to get the pop out. Look at, see, they set up real high, and this time he does get the right angle to hit it down on the ground, and does get the job done. So they try and elevate the ball, trying to pop it, but he, with better technique, they got the job done, and now they're going to intentionally pass Schumacher.
The intentional walk to Schumacher, who got things started for the Cardinals in the bottom of the ninth. Their 2-run rally to tie this game and send it to extra innings. Loads the bases for Nick Punto.
Freddie Gonzalez comes out, the manager, not the pitching coach. A lot of this is just talk about strategy with the infielders. Nick Punto has been on the disabled list for quite a bit. Really just came back. Two for 5 with a strikeout against Linebrick. 300-foot fly ball is all you need.
You could drive a very large truck through that right center field gap. Very shallow are the outfielders.
They're playing double play up the middle.
Ball 1 to Punto.
Corners are kind of pinched in. Very shallow in the outfield. It's Holiday out at third base, but you're running out of position players.
Cardinals with a chance to win it in the bottom of the 10th.
With all the walks the Cardinals have received today, wouldn't it be fitting to have another walk? It's 2-0. Punto, you know, has got a pretty good eye, and he's not going to help the cause. Game-winning walk would be fine, wouldn't it?
I'll take it.
Albert's poised to just congratulate his teammates. Right down the middle, but taking like he should.
Bases full of Cardinals.
It's Punto time. So that all the time we made great defensive plays. And here's a chance to be an offensive hero.
The 2-1.
Punch anything to the left side of the infield too. A little bit to get through on the left side. All up in his eyes, top of the strike zone. Linebrick trying to get that pop up and strikeout. Punto, that's a, you don't get it up there high enough, that's a pretty good sacrifice fly.
Two and 2 to Nick Punto. We'll do it again.
The more pitches you see, the better chance you have. Punto had a game-winning hit. So did Gerald Laird on deck. earlier against Atlanta down in Dixie.
Chance for another one here. The 2-2.
Mention our home plate umpire Mike Everett had a good game back behind the plate. Knocked the glove off of Brian McCann, and he's feeling a little bit in one of his pinkies. Oh, you got it in the mask also, didn't it?
So he needs a little time. His pitcher needs to throw a strike. There's a line drive to center field. It's deep enough to score the winning run for the Redbirds, and Matt Holliday and the Cardinals win game 1 with Atlanta, and they celebrate on the infield. 4-3 Cardinals.
Ripped the shirt off him.
A game winner, sacrifice fly for Nick Punto. The Cardinals with 2 in the 9th, and they score on this fly ball here in the 10th.
Had to throw a strike. He does so, but a good at bat as he drives it out to center field.
Post game is next. Cardinals a winner at Busch.